We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. We can't take care of daycare.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Black Briefing Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Samantha Douglas.
I'm Wild Style for show.
Wild Style for show. I need somebody to help me say that now. Jared said it, but it was too low for y'all to hear. We are back, y'all. It's been a little while. It's been so long that we got a couple old news topics, and y'all are just, suffer through with us until we get through them. It's just a couple. But again, I'm trying to start this podcast better. How are you doing, Wild?
Better than I was yesterday.
Praise God.
About a food poisoning, and yeah, it was not good.
Y'all. And he told me the kind of food. I don't even want to think about. It was not okay.
I survived.
I'm glad you're better now.
I survived. I still haven't got my appetite back completely, but
yeah,
I'm gonna try to eat later today.
That's probably to your benefit. Okay, so like I said, it's been a little while, so we have quite a few things to get to. We also have a couple things that are a little older, but they needed to be addressed. So the first one up is, so there was an article going around, an Indy Star article that was talking about the most effective legislators. And when this article was shared, it was shared with criticism of Andrea Hundley. And of course, we are Captain Saba Hundley. And so we're going to respond. I'm just kidding, though. No, we're actually going to respond because this article was shared without context. And I think. And then
some of the context. Well, I don't know who said that Andrea passed more bills than the Black Legislative Caucus, but it wasn't me. I did say that she passed more bills than most of the other members of the Black Legislative Caucus.
Right.
Which is true.
And that's during her 4 years there.
Yes.
Okay. And that's important. And this is why we wanted to bring this up today, because this article is specifically talking about 2023 to 2024. Which is important because when you go to what's it the Center for Legislative whatever.
Yeah, it lists a bunch of dead people on there, literally.
I mean,
people
not
that
a
are
bunch.
Several of these people are dead and have been dead for years.
Oh my God!
I mean, I hate to put it like that, but I hate when articles are shared without context.
Yes.
And people get a narrative like that. There are several people that did fairly well on this list that are dead, and they've been dead since 2024.
I will say there is and because this is, I want to highlight again, this is 2023 to 2024. This is why you don't see some legislators and you do see others. For example, you see Eddie Melton on there. He is not there anymore. He's now the mayor of Gary. This is why you don't see Senator Jackson on there, because she was not there yet. This is why you do see Senator Bro, God rest her soul. Like those things
Senator
are important.
Jack Sandlin.
And
I'm not worried about him getting any rest. But anyway,
but the point is, it's important to consider that, because that's why you have Andrea Hundley in the middle of the pack
as a freshman,
freshman legislator, because at this time she got elected in November 2022. It was November 2022. This is looking at 2023 through 2024. Okay. So this is very early in her career, and she still is in the middle of the pack. So
above some other senators that were that I would consider good state senators, by the way. And it also, there are other, I don't know about methodology problems, but there are problems with this, the way they're quantifying this, because the Senate majority leaders and the Senate minority leaders and the speakers all are the lowest on the list. Like Greg Taylor, who was
I was just about to say
the Senate Majority Leader,
rock bottom.
Rock bottom.
At the rock bottom.
Roderick Bray, I think he's the Speaker of the President of the Senate. He's second from the bottom. Like there are some real issues about the methodology on this.
I would love for y'all to actually click through them too. So when you go to the link, it'll link you to the Center for Lawmakers or whatever the organization is called. But when you go to their website and you actually look at this list on their website, you can click on the names. Like you can click on the names and actually see the breakdown of how they're categorizing this legislation as well, whether it's commemorative, substantive, and then if it's what's the SS, substantive and something else, substantive and
I didn't even. I was
substantial or significant. Substantive and significant is the other one.
Well, and I saw Senator Aaron Freeman as number 2 on the list of most effective state senators. I knew that this list, even if it's only covering a year, has some problems.
Has some problems.
Some serious problems. If that's effective,
problems.
An effective legislator. Like, seriously.
Yeah,
like his colleagues don't consider him an effective legislator.
And that's what I'm saying. And she's ranked 6 of 11. She's ranked 6 of 11. Like, come on.
And her first year, like a freshman senator, Andrea Hunley, is 6 of 11 in the first year. And honestly, the middle of the pack is very tight. Like it's about this much between all of them in the middle anyway.
I would just also like to point out, compared directly with Greg Taylor, he has 0 commemorative bills, 11 substantive bills, and 0 substantive and what was the other one? Substantive and whatever that one is. Significant. Substantive and significant. 0 of those, right? And then it's all zeros. Nothing became law. Nothing. Andrea Hunley has 17 substantive, 2 in the next category, 2 in the category after that, 2 passed, and I think 0 became law. I think something like that. So
and again, that's only for 23 and 24. This is not for her Senate career. This is the first year that she walks into the State House as a state senator.
Yes. I mean, even Gene Bro, 21, 2, and 2, not far from Hunley. It's just, it is hard to get things passed. But I think what should be most important to us, especially as residents, is looking at that top number. Like, what are they actually putting up? Are they putting substantive bills up? Like that's the first step, right? And I think when you're looking at those numbers and you're looking at where they're getting from there, it's not real encouraging for a lot of folks. Like Greg Taylor, for example. How does Andrea Hunley have 17 and you have 11 in that district? How?
And it could be because how things function as a majority leader or like the president. I don't know, but what I can say
maybe. It looks bad.
It looks bad, and if we're gonna go by that, then you got to give the context. Like, well,
but I was about to say, this is your, whatever monthly reminder to provide context so that people actually understand the data. Don't use it to try to manipulate, to just try to make a stupid point.
Yeah,
it's worthless.
Because if you post it and it's an article, and it's that, like, you're saying some inflammatory stuff, I'm gonna go click it. We're gonna go look.
I'm gonna go read it.
We're gonna read it.
I'm gonna read it.
And I've said before, like the Black Briefing podcast, we do fact check. We fact check what we're putting out, and we fact check our guests, and we fact check if somebody's saying, hey, or our candidates ain't doing this or that. Not to say it's our candidate, but that we had the person on. Yeah, we're gonna go look at it.
Yes, we're gonna go look at it. We're gonna try to. I mean, we're gonna try to do our best to make sure that the things that we're saying, that we're doing, that we're communicating, that we're sharing is as accurate as we can. Even if we got to correct ourselves. Like there was one not so long ago. You remember we were going down through the elected officials, the candidates. And I was, they had them.
They were out of order.
Yeah. And so I had a little pop up say, hey, this is wrong. We fixed this after, like we do that. So I don't know.
So, if we had a candidate on and it seemed like they were a pretty effective state senator, and there's a narrative of like, no, they're not. Okay, well, we're gonna go check it out to make sure that we did not give
and prove it.
Yeah, our viewers the wrong impression.
Prove it. Yeah, prove it.
And we've determined that our interview was factual. And if you got the impression that Andrea Hunley was an effective state senator, then that's the impression you should have got.
And that's it. Okay, that's it. We're not going to give too much time for that because, again, it does feel like old news, but we did want to make sure we set that straight and give clarity. And truthfully, I'm with you, too, on I don't know who said that. And I can't imagine we said that for real. Like, I can imagine if somebody said that, we probably said it as a joke. Which probably has more bills than the IBLC combined. Like, it was probably a joke.
But I do know, particularly, I was like, well, she's got more... She got more done than the other ones.
Right. And you can prove that. And that's just from the data that we can see. That's just the first half. That's not even the second half, because they did say the sessions plural between 2023 and 2024. So I'm assuming it's plural. Like it's not just considering the one. But yeah, that's not even considering these last two. So yeah, miss me with that. Next thing up, again, it's old news, but I just want to make a point. We won't be here long, but Doran Moreland, he was voted, he was chosen and confirmed by the city county council, correct? He was chosen and confirmed by them, right? Confirmed. Yeah. No, I'm saying he was chosen by them initially too, wasn't he? That's what I thought so. Maggie Lewis, President Maggie Lewis, president of the council, Maggie Lewis, chose Doran Moreland as chief of staff of the council. He is replacing Greg Stowers, big shoes to fill. Yeah. And they're coming up a little small already, but Doran Moreland. So
I maybe we'll see. I would say he's creative.
Come on.
And I love Greg. I'm not saying Greg Stowers is not creative, but I just don't know if Greg Stowers is that creative.
And let me say this too. I do not know this man.
I don't know him
either. I do not know this man. So if I don't mean coming up short in the job. He hasn't had a chance to do the job yet, y'all. I'm talking about in, transparency, honesty. I'm just saying it's not looking or feeling good.
And part of the job is babysitting. But, that's another thing.
And so for those of you who don't know, he went before the City County Council Committee on March 17th for preliminary approval as chief of staff. And he was confirmed. So
after controversy and after the article came out.
Right. After the article came out. So he had worked for Mayor Bart Peterson, for U.S. Senator Evan Bayh. He had worked at IPEC. He was 40 under 40 honoree. He got $10,000 as an Indianapolis Foundation fellow. Like, he was checking all the boxes. However, nobody was checking his boxes he was checking. You know what I mean? So as he was telling folks he had his degree, he did not. And he didn't actually get his degree until 2024. And all of these positions that you heard me listen to, this is all throughout the 2000s. That 40 under 40 was 2010. These fools are laughing. I'm trying to just report the stuff. 2010 was when he got the 40 under 40. 2016 was when he started working at IPEC. He was working at a college to advance its diversity and inclusion strategy. But he did not have. I'm so sick of them. I wish y'all could hear this in the room right now.
Woo-wee.
Don't make me cry.
I got tears rolling down my eyes. I
gotta do a podcast.
Woo-wee. Okay. I'm gonna get through this.
Okay. Y'all, he actually got his degree in 2024. This was confirmed by IU. He was a longtime student of IU over the 2000s. He just did not finish his degree to the end. Now, Samantha is not going to shade. Y'all know I am back in school finishing my degree right now. I'm not, listen.
How long have you had your degree, though? I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
I have never even, and this is where I ding on him. I transparently let people know that while I went to school, I did drop out. I did not complete my degree, which is why I'm back there finishing it now. Now, on the other side of things, I think it is incumbent upon the people employing him, giving him awards, recognition, fellowships, to confirm that he indeed has this degree. Now,
none of these people checked. Not the IBJ, not Ivy Tech.
You would think Ivy Tech would for sure.
Not the Indianapolis Foundation. No, nobody checked.
Like what, y'all? Even in this, because during this,
we're laughing at them. I'm not laughing at him. I'm laughing at them.
No, listen. I'm like, get paid.
Get paid.
Listen, get paid. I am not shading him at all. Not on those things. I think he should be honest.
Yeah, you should.
And,
but,
forthcoming. But on them, got his check. They said he made, what they say, over $550,000 while he was at Ivy Tech.
Yeah, he was earning $150,000 a year.
Woo! Yeah, he was getting paid. Jared's looking at me crazy.
Yeah,
yes,
$150,000 a year.
Yes, he was.
That degree was worth a lot. A bachelor's?
Poli-sci, bachelor's in poli-sci.
Mm-hmm.
He was running around just saying he had a poli-sci degree. It was making $150.
I mean, but he was the IBJ's 40 under 40 honoree. Like, you gotta when you get that, you have to pay him over $100.
Has 2 master's degrees, and she's just now 40 under 40. And then I'm not saying that that's the requirement.
But if you get that, they got to pay you.
Traditionally, yeah.
And so I know some backstory. It was, I think, what was it when he tried to run for school board?
Yes.
In 2020.
Yeah.
And it was the meddling kids at North Central that looked
not the meddling kids. Like Scooby-Doo. These meddling kids.
The meddling kids couldn't find, wait a minute, hold on, we can't find that you graduated here.
Well, and I seen it said something in the article about he didn't walk, he didn't, so it's there was no evidence that he graduated anything.
He said his position was it was a misunderstanding. The Indy Star said, well, the records show that, he said he thought he graduated in 2001, which I'm not sure how you think you graduated.
I was gonna say I don't know how you misunderstand a whole degree,
but misunderstandings happen. But then the Indy Star said that they followed up with IU, and they said that he apparently he re-enrolled through the mid 2000s through into the 2010s.
Yeah.
Even though he thought he already had graduated.
Had graduated
in 2001.
They said he applied. Didn't they say he applied for a master's program?
Well, no, that's when he said he learned.
That's when he learned that he did. Okay. Okay.
But it's a little.
Listen,
the math just ain't math in here. I'm sorry.
The math ain't mathing, but I don't want to stay on that part of the point. For me, the bigger point was one, God, how ineffective is our city that we can't even just follow and make sure people have the degrees they say they have. But two,
was it even necessary? I mean,
this is the bigger problem is just the incestuous nature of Indy politics. Like the fact that this is who we turned up. And again, I do not know this man. I do not know his work. Okay, so I'm not speaking to those things. I'm just speaking to based on the things that we can see and at an integrity level. This is a flaw, a significant one that you probably don't want in your chief of staff of your city council.
Or maybe you do.
Or maybe you do. I don't know. But I do know that Bart Peterson has been coming up a lot in these conversations, especially in the education realm and with our schools and leadership. Buys have been coming up a lot and not in a great way. So it's just like, y'all, you know, these feels like a few red flags there. Feels like a few red flags even before he gets started. But you know, I mean, get paid.
What I will say is maybe he don't need that degree to do these jobs. I've long suspected that. And I think the social capital that you get from working for white people like Mayor Bart Peterson and Governor Evan Bayh or whatever.
You know, they say it isn't what you know, but who you know.
Who you know.
This is definitely a who do you know type of story.
And, you know, and when you have those people, you know, able to probably submit letters and put them on the list, they're like, well, why do we need to even check with IU to make sure that she actually graduated?
You know, they just assume. And that's like, this is why we got to have standards, though. Like, even outside of who you know, like I could see the who you know helping you get an opportunity to be considered.
Yes.
But the who you know should not, because that's what happens with us, even in community, like when a contract position comes up and stuff like that. Like there are people that will get considered because we're familiar with them or their work or whatever. Like that'll get you opportunity, right? Like the opportunity to be considered. But it doesn't get you the role. Like you need to judge competence separately.
But it does. This is the proof.
Too often.
It's who you know. And I mean,
too often.
A lot of this, what I've seen is that Indiana politics actually does, it runs on vibes and aura.
It does run on
like all of this, we have IBJ, which I think does great journalism, did not check. We have all these different people, a whole community college did not check.
Yeah. Now, I think in IBJ's defense, I think they could come back and say that a degree is not a requirement for that award. So it was not. I'm saying I could see them saying like they didn't have to. That they just asked for a bio and they just, you know what I mean, listed his bio as whatever. I'm just saying I could see them saying that.
Yeah, but I mean it's one of those things like they went off a bio, but still nobody checks. Like if they were obviously during that period of time he was using that degree as part of his bio.
Get paid.
Get paid. He was getting paid.
He was getting paid.
Now, I don't know how that affects his job as being one of the babysitters for city council, and that's what the job is. Like, I
mean, I know because now I will say this because I'm friends with Greg. He did a lot more than babysit.
No, I mean, but
he did a lot more than babysit.
Keeping 25 grown men and women from embarrassing themselves and the city on a regular basis is a big job. And we spend a lot of time talking about some of these counselors, and so it's a difficult job.
No, for sure. No,
it is a very difficult job.
I agree that's a part of the job for sure, but I'm just saying that isn't the whole job. There was a lot of other things, like because we would talk about their work with trying to work better with the state house. Trying to be more active in state level policy and things like that and how it impacts our city and stuff. So the job is bigger than that. But again, my concerns would be like when you catch flaws this early,
it is concerning.
Integrity, it's concerning.
I like as much as I love that he gamed the system and turned it on his head, made a mockery of their what they thought was the qualifications needed. Yep. It's also like, all right, there's the integrity part. Like, all right, man.
Yep. Okay. next one. So that's really it with the old news. Look at us. You got through that quick. See, it wasn't bad at all. Next one, IPS school board election. So for those of you who do not know, Gail Cosby actually stepped down from IPS District 2.
I can't remember what district number it is.
District 2, but they have a good chunk of the Far East Side. And so I was actually following this a bit closer than I do typically in these kind of elections, because obviously we have a vested interest in making sure that District 2 is represented well. When she stepped down from her seat, in her resignation letter, she also included a recommendation for her replacement because she knew that it would be chosen by her fellow board members.
Did they listen to her?
They did not, but we'll get to that. So she suggested Brian. What's Brian's last name? Duarte. So she suggested Brian Duarte to replace her, but the actual process they had to go through was they had to open the application. People had to apply. They would interview those who applied, and then they would vote. And by the way, they had to replace this person. I think it was 30 days. I think they had 30 days to replace her in total for everything. And so they put the application out one week, and literally by the next week, that next Tuesday, they were interviewing 2 candidates who were, it was Hassan, what's his last name?
Hassan Rashid. And then the other one was Brian Duarte. And so if you follow me on social media, especially Facebook, I watched the interviews. And I knew not everybody would. So I also wrote like a synopsis of what I thought, a reflection of what I thought had happened. I was actually very nice. You were too nice.
I was actually very nice because I wanted people to hear all of it. I didn't want them to just cut it off. But then I also gave a cute little graphic that showed like the different categories in which the things that came up and kind of where they scored for me on those things. I think for me, it was very obvious that Hassan showed up as very much more community minded and centered. And that was kind of the beginning and the end of the experience or relevance of his expertise. And then
I disagree with that. Go ahead.
I know.
Go ahead.
I'm just giving you guys an overview of what I said, what I thought. And then on the other side, Brian Duarte, and again, I only judged them off this interview. So not in totality, because Hassan had run before against Gail and stuff. So I had only judged them off of this interview alone. Brian Duarte, I do recognize him from being at ILEA meetings, from testifying. But in the interview, I judged their responses to the questions. Brian Duarte, he has all the education experience. He comes from that space, all the data experience and strategy, policy analysis. I mean, just literally everything this board does not currently have in truth. Like these are a bunch of community grounded and centered Black women who have real connections to their community. I won't take that away from them, but I think it would have served their board well. And I said this, to have somebody with his skill set, because I don't think that skill set exists right now in the rest of their board. And I think even in considering too the possibility of them losing another member very soon, Alyssa M. Pink, to the state Senate, because she's currently running for state Senate. Her and Cliff. So if she does get that state Senate seat, she may be off of that board. And truthfully, Alyssa is one of those more pragmatic type folks on the board. So to me, it felt like Brian Duarte was the right choice. Now, while it feels differently, I mean, not differently about the choice, but
I felt differently about the community-minded part, and I'll go into that later. But I was not going to watch the interviews, mainly because I really wanted to stay out of that, the whole school board stuff and getting into the intricacies of it. And also, I just didn't believe you that the interview was that bad. I really didn't. But I was like, let me watch a little bit of it. And I was shocked and appalled. And I really didn't appreciate the way he talked about his community experience on where he said that he'd been boots on the ground and knocked on all these doors around the district, and he knows what they need, because that's not community. You don't know, like, you know some things, but this is an ongoing process.
Yep.
When they asked questions about what would you do, he said, oh, well, we would go do the studies, do this. I'm like, fam, the studies already exist. The studies have shown the inequity going on and a lot of these issues for a long time. And either, you don't understand that the data already exists that you're talking about studying and creating studies for, or you probably are just not prepared for this interview. And I felt like it was a mix of both. He didn't seem prepared. I felt like the school board members voted for him. Some of them very smart, intelligent people should have known better.
Yeah.
And that they were not prioritizing our children and the future of IPS when they voted for him.
So Hassan Rashid works in sales in the water and sewer industry and is the founder of the annual Brendan Park Live Music Festival. Okay. Brian Duarte is Purdue University education assistant professor. And then he also has an extensive background in just like data analysis around like the education system and things like that, and policy. And
also he was a teacher.
And he was a teacher. Yes. And he was a teacher. I mean,
a teacher of I guess primarily students of color at his school.
Yes. And if you and this is the thing, if we had a board that was full of folks that were kind of more of like the eggheads who get into the data and the details and the policy and all that stuff, I would 1000% understand the choice of Hassan Rashid over Brian. However, that is not the case. You have a lot of people like that already. You really needed, this was a chance to kind of round out the board in that way, to bring them honestly more tools too, as the fight with the State House continues to persist. Because that's going to be an ongoing thing. We'll get to the IPEC board, but we just saw who was appointed to that. So like, you needed somebody who was in the numbers, who knows what they're talking about, who knew the angles to go at these things. Cause like in the conversation we had with Pastor Green, the candidate for State Senate District 29, there is this point in which, especially in differences where you really have to rely on the data and how this impacts people. And I think he was just a better candidate to be able to articulate those points, to be able to identify even those points.
And he was very specific about, he had looked at the data already, which I thought was good.
Data already.
He looked at the data for Building Better Stronger, which was IPS's plan of basically capital investment. They built buildings,
rebuilding stronger. Yeah.
And they made like investments. They tore down at least one building and they're building another one. They made a lot of big changes. And Brian Duarte had looked at the data and said, well, I think here at the higher level things pencil out. But he said between schools there were issues like that, there were things that needed to be fixed.
Yep.
And as much as I'm a community person, but I'm also a community person that's driven by data.
Right.
And as a community person, for the community person not to be able to say, hey, these are some things that need to actually be fixed because you actually haven't done the homework.
Yep.
You haven't had enough conversations. You might have been boots on the ground, but you've not been able to talk about what actually needs to be fixed. And all of this that I'm always irritated with about how the ILEA meetings went, where they're talking about combining oversight of charters and IPSs, it only ever addressed fixing all of the abundant problems in charter schools. It never talked about addressing actual IPS issues, because IPS does have issues that are beyond charter schools. It never talks about that.
Nope.
And only one candidate there for these interviews talked about actually fixing things with internal IPS issues, and that was Brian DeWert.
Yeah. And there's so many other things too. There was a lot of criticism, and this is why I kept it to just the interview in my reflection, because people talked about how Hassan Rashid had dropped off the map since the election. So like since he ran, like he was not present for the ILEA conversations in the community, was not there to testify or to support IPS or anything like that, and that he didn't pop back up until it was time to apply for this seat again.
And he wasn't there for when they confirmed him for that seat
and
either.
He wasn't there when they confirmed. So when they voted, he was not there.
I'm assuming he was on his way and realized he left his oven on. That happens.
No, he didn't. He just didn't go. I hope he was doing something important.
Or maybe he was probably already told, hey, no, you got this, bro. Just stay home and chill.
I will say this. His presence in that interview definitely read like somebody who's just, I got this. Like, I don't even really need to. Like, even in the beginning, he's like, how are y'all doing?
Forgot to even say his name.
Yeah.
He forgot to say his name.
It's like, y'all, it was rough. And then even the public comment at the end. And I didn't like, and because this is a Black briefing, I'm going to bring it up. I did not like that. I've seen a lot of comments about, there was no Black people there to support Brian DeWert. And it's just like, okay, listen, this board is all Black. All Black. This district is not all Black. Okay.
And neither was IPS.
It was not going to kill us to put a Latino man on this board. It was not. It was not going to kill nobody. We were still going to have it was going to be 6 Black women to 1 Latino man. He identifies as Latino man, right?
Yeah, he's
Portuguese.
Portuguese.
Yeah. But yeah, that like, y'all, come on. Like, and I seen that consistently. Like, we need more Black people to advocate, or we need Black people to say this, or we need Black people. And it's like, yo. We're going to stop that noise. There was in this where we have, it was just like what I said before, but somebody flipped it so good. This board was flipped so good, y'all. It was all Black and all black women. That should not have been an issue here. There are legitimate issues where representation is a real problem. Here, it is not. And if you want to make the case for it being a problem, it would be in the opposite way. Mm-hmm. It would not be for Black folks. So we need to. Now, you can make the argument that not everybody is looking out for the best interests of Black people on this board. I would hear the argument for sure.
That is an argument
I think this decision very much so feels much more political than it did the best interests of the children of the board of the district, in truth. So you can do what you will with that. But yeah, it was very disappointing. We did have multiple conversations. You saw in my post, I tagged all of the board members so that they could see. I did hear though that one of the board members was kind of like, was quoted as saying like they're blocking out all the noise.
Yeah. There was,
and
there
it's
was one in
like
particular.
Blocking out all the noise. Is community feedback noise? Is hearing from your district's noise?
But that same commissioner also made statements that, that the community shouldn't have been bothering them at the IPS board meetings, I think last year or the year before. No, it was last year about this stuff too. Like, I'm going to be honest. I am not sure of some of our representation on that IPS board.
Me either. Truthfully. And it's not to say that you're a bad person. I don't, most of them, I know quite a few of them. I don't like personally know all of them, but it's not to say you're a bad person. I don't know that or not, but it's 100% to say that you shouldn't be on this school board.
Yeah. Some that vote, and there was a question on one that I I disagreed with quite often, but I felt like, okay, like, you know, I guess I can see it their way that they're looking out for the best interests of students and families this way. But when I saw that vote, I was like, oh no, that's not what you're doing.
So we're not going to stay there forever. I'm gonna go to the next thing, but yes, we are disappointed. We did try at least to give our little 2 cents on where we stood, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
And I want to say, like, the interviews was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. It's like,
oh yeah,
we saw what you saw, and we know that you saw it. We're looking at each other.
You can see me?
Yeah.
That's it? You
yeah.
can see me?
We see each
Yes,
other.
we see you.
We saw what you saw. You know, and you also know that we saw it, and we're all saying, like, hey, whoa, this is that one of these candidates is not prepared, and y'all were like, we don't care what you think you saw or what you think we saw.
Yeah.
We're going to do what we want.
And I mean, before we move on, I will say too, he will only have this seat till November. Y'all can decide to vote somebody else in there. You can decide in November. This seat is up for election come November. So if you're in District 2, 1, I encourage you to run. I encourage competition across the board. So I encourage you to run. But then 2, I encourage y'all, District 2, IPS, come out and vote. Come out and vote. I know that they are limiting their power. I know that they're doing all these things, but it's super important that we have an effective board with their eyes wide open that can do the work and make the decisions that we need them to do. So make sure you guys are paying attention to that coming up here in November. School board seats will be on the ballot. So next topic is the IPEC board. So if that was not heartbreaking enough, right on the heels of that, we got our IPEC board. So we knew this was coming. We knew that the mayor would be appointing the people on this 9-person board. I know I've seen people explain it multiple ways, but he makes all the appointments. It's just that 3 of them has to be appointments from the IPS school board. Okay. So, I mean, yes, it's 3 from the school board, but he chooses which school board members. Okay. And then the rest are from, other places. Some are supposedly community leaders, which I thought was super disrespectful. And, so you got 9 folks, and they are Hope Starr, which is the IPS board president, Ashley Thomas, IPS board member, Deandra Thompson, IPS board member, David Harris, president and CEO of Crystal House International,
and founder of the Mind Trust.
Janet and he just left the board right before this, right?
I don't know if did he leave the board?
Okay. Janet McNeil, president of Heron Classical Schools Charter Network. Dexter Taylor, director of Paramount Brookside Charter School. Patricia Castaneda, I don't know, vice president of Key Bank. John Hammond, partner at Taft.
And it's John Hammond III, not to be
John Hammond III.
Not to be confused with John Hammond IV, who also works at Taft. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay. And then Edward Rangel, founding CEO of Adelante Schools Charter Network. What an amazing bunch of fighters for I was gonna be sarcastic, Wild. I was gonna say fighters for public education. Look at all of these people who are here to really fight for and care about the kids. Doesn't feel like many of them. So it says Harris, who served as charter schools director under former Mayor Bart Peterson, and later helped found the Mind Trust nonprofit that helps launch charter schools, will serve as the IPEC board chair. For most folks in the community, this was a blow. I feel like even though we knew it was coming, it also just felt like a huge blow. It says the city also extended its contract with Michael O'Connor of Bose Public Affairs, who led the ILEA through its brainstorming sessions last year, which we know was actually, I don't know, a show, because they sure didn't take nothing the community said.
It was a dog and pony show.
I was going to say, yeah, this was not, no. The original contract paid for by the city with a maximum cost of $340,000 allowed the city to renew its agreement with O'Connor to help implement ILEA's recommendations. The extension runs through May and allows for an additional maximum of $200,000.
I'll tell you what, his kids will not have the problem that Doran Moreland had about going to finishing college, because they have more than enough money to make sure that, and their kids, and their kids, and their kids.
And there's kids. Okay.
All off the backs of Indianapolis taxpayers.
That's a fact.
So I want to go through and talk about, I'm going to skip the IPS board members, even though I don't feel any of them are going to advocate much for IPS. But I want to talk about how stacked the board is. Let's just assume that all the IPS board members we believed were going to advocate for IPS. So then you have David Harris, the founder of the Mind Trust. He founded the Mind Trust with Bart Peterson.
Yep. Founder
of the Mind Trust. Janet McNeil, president of Heron Classical Schools Charter Network. And if you didn't understand, like, they are probably the leading charter. They probably get the most money out of the network and from the state, from everybody. They get probably the most money out of that. And then Dexter Taylor, director of Paramount, they got to be a close second or third on that list of charter school networks that, are just getting all the benefits from everything. Patricia Castaneda, I don't know her. And I haven't taken the time to look her up. Hopefully, she might be a real community pick. I don't know. John Hammond III, which the mayor's office didn't initially release. He's a lawyer, but also he was a board member of Heron High School, which is a charter school, or it might be an innovation school now. That. They switched titles and this all the same stuff. And then you have Edward Rangel, founding CEO of Adelante Schools Charter Network.
I want to add too, so the makeup of the board was that there'd be 3 IPS school board commissioners, there'd be 3 charter school leaders, and then there'd be 3 community leaders. Okay, obviously Hope, Ashley, Deandra are the school board commissioners. Mm-hmm. Yes. The charter school leaders, David Harris, Janet McNeil, and Dexter Taylor. Okay. The community leaders, y'all. Community leaders are the Patricia Castaneda, Vice President of Key Bank, John Hammond, partner at Taft, and Edward Rangel, CEO of Adelante School. It's just like so community leaders.
So 2 of the community leaders are charter school people off tops. And not that it matters, but it may matter to some that John Hammond, he ran the Republican committee here or something. Hold on, let me go look.
Did he?
Oh yeah.
Shut up! Yeah. I didn't know that part.
Oh yeah, he's
I didn't know that part.
Let's see. He was Hammond. This is an old article. It was the committeeman of the Republican Party of Indiana. He was the RNC delegate to the 2016 Republican National Convention.
Wow.
Let's see. Oh, and a Trump supporter.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, he had to. He was bound by party rules to support Donald Trump. So.
My God, today. I didn't even know that much, y'all, and I was already disappointed in this board. This is a slap in the face to the community just after you've already stomped us out. Like, you've already stomped us out. This is insult to injury.
Yeah, no, he's and he worked for the Governor Robert Orr That was the governor before. I don't know. This went way back.
Way back, yeah. Y'all, it's horrific. It feels bad because it is bad. The only hope we have is next year. I'm gonna say this again. My God, next year we have the chance to have a complete whole new municipal government.
Yes.
Okay. New mayor, new city county council. We have a chance. Okay. We have a chance, y'all. We cannot blow it. We cannot blow it. We need to make sure that these boards, that these councils, that all of this are actually representing the interests of our people. Like, we have to. I cannot stress enough how important these elections are next year. Like, I'm already working on resources for next year's election now. Ways that we're going to get folks to the polls, way that we're going to get folks registered, but more importantly, ways that we're actually going to turn people out. Because we have a much bigger turnout problem than we do a registration problem. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be critically important. If this makes you mad now, I hope it does. And I want you to hold it. Okay. Don't let this just burn away.
Don't let it go. Don't let this go.
Let it go. Dig your heels in and you carry this with you to the polls next year. And in the fall, by the way. But for the IPS school board, for the seats that are up, carry this energy to the fall for sure. In November, vote your interests. And then next year, y'all hold this fire, please, and vote. Vote next primary so we have the right candidates in position, and then vote in the fall so that we get the right candidates actually through the finish line.
If you don't think that Trump Republicans are the best people to be looking out after the schools in the IPS district, be mad. Do something. Yeah. Vote. And, you know, I'm one of those people that's like, you know, I've always made fun of Democrats for always saying vote harder, but vote harder on this one. Like, you're going to have to send a message.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we got selling Out Brightwood. My God, today, y'all. So if you've been under a rock, you may not know that the Brightwood community has been fighting, and that's an important distinction. The community has been fighting a data center that is trying to come to the old Sherman Drive-In, right? That's what it used to be. The old Sherman Drive-In location in Brightwood, they are trying to put a data center there. And this community has been fighting. Oh, they've been fighting so well. And after a lot of continuances up to this point, after a hearing examiner meeting that was very disappointing, we got us all the way to the MDC meeting the other day on Wednesday. Yesterday. On Wednesday, yesterday. And they heard testimony from everybody. Of course, their sold out counselor, the attorneys, poor Tyler, he has he gets all the crappy projects. If y'all are involved in rezoning stuff at all, Tyler always has the worst projects. Let me tell you, the last time I seen him outside of this data center was semi-truck parking out here on our side.
Oh, man.
Absolutely not. So
they're hazing them over at
Bose. At Bose. Oh, they're tearing them up at Bose. I don't even know, and I don't know if I should feel. Well, he's getting paid very well.
Yeah, you got to be
getting
paid.
I don't feel that bad for him, but I'm just saying he does get all the crappy projects. But anyway, and right now he's in charge of railroading the Brightwood community, and so just to get you caught up, just really briefly. Typically you do not get to this point with these kind of issues because usually the community's all on the same side. The problem with this is that their elected official, bald-headed Ron Gibson, is not on their side. So the people who elected him in, the people who are responsible for electing him in again if he decides to run again, which I don't think he is, he's not standing with them. He doesn't care what they say. He doesn't care what their concerns are. As a matter of fact, he's not meeting with them. He's not talking with them. He's not hearing them. He's walked out of multiple meetings with them. He has zero regard or respect for his community. And through this process, he has been on the side of this developer. I've said this before, but in this season especially, it is just coming up over and over again that our representatives, regardless of where they're at, need to be reminded that they are representatives and not replacements for us. And if there is a knowledge gap, that is your job to close that gap. And if you do not, all you can do is stand with your community. If you cannot close that knowledge gap, which that's the problem right now, there's not a knowledge gap to close. Like, there's nothing that the community needs to know that they don't already know. They don't want it. They hear all the things. They know all the things. They hear all the lies y'all are saying y'all are going to do. Like, they were trying to say yesterday, oh, we'll give up to $20 million to the community. So they started to ask him, like, oh, well, where in the community? Oh, well, we don't know. Well, like, how? Oh, well, if the abatements go through, the abatements. Oh, but you said this is going to make $11 million in taxes every year. Oh, well, is that before or after the abatements? Oh, that's before the abatements. Like, it's just like, it was just, it was a fiasco. And what did the MDC do? You know what they did? 4-2. They voted in support of it. 4-2. And I just know in my spirit, Brent Lyle is one of those two. And I appreciate you, brother.
We appreciate Brent.
Man, he was asking great questions, and you know he was one of the two votes. So appreciate him. Wanted to give him a shout out for that. And you know who else I wanted to shout out, because I don't shout him out enough? Greg Porter. Man, Porter will come and testify and stand with community. And I am so grateful for that. You know, we talked about childcare a little earlier with Pastor Green. But again, the Dem who tried to put up a bill to get some childcare funding was Greg Porter. So just want to express my appreciation for him, just for always standing with community, knowing what's going on and what those pain points are, but then actually showing up too. So he testified multiple times, answered questions, and really fought hard at this hearing. And I was so grateful to see that. Of course, Jesse Brown did. I feel like that goes without saying. Yep. And then all of the incredible leadership that Brightwood has, Sierra, Miss Paula, and they had an attorney too. I can't remember her name right now in there, but man, they were working really, really hard. They had great statements, Pastor Danelle, even Josh and the Black Church Coalition. But this fight is not over. It's not over, but they did get another niche. They moved a little closer to developing this thing yesterday.
And I want to, even with all this going on, somebody asked me on the post, hey, can you explain why it's so bad? Because there's so much misinformation. Tyler Oakes from Bose, he is actually not that skilled at misinformation, but he tries it. And one of the issues on why this is such a bad development for Brightwood, just environmentally, I'm not going to talk about the fact that you've picked a site next to their grocery store across the street from their public library, but the fact that it will need 36 diesel generators. That's what it calls for, 36 diesel generators that would take up pretty much this whole entire room that we're shooting the podcast in.
More than, oh my God.
Like each generator.
Each generator
would take up
there's at least two of them.
Yeah.
You could probably fit two to a room. In this room,
maybe they're ginormous.
They're huge
generators, and I found the exact model that they specified in their little shady filings to the city, and these are ginormous generators. And what people don't understand is, like, well, they told Martindale Brightwood, well, we would only test these things to make sure that they work, but that's not how this works. A data center has to be up and operational 99.999% of the time. And if you are in the AES service district, how do you feel that AES is delivering power to your house 99.999% of the time? That does not happen. No. I come back all the time and my clocks is off, I have a smart home, so I got motion sensors. My lights will be on and stuff where I could tell the power went out. And that data center will take the power. It will need the power of Muncie, Indiana. So these generators are going to be running early and often. And then there's the issue of thousands of gallons of diesel storage on site without the checks and balances of a normal gas station, like a normal gas station, because they've all polluted so much.
I need to tell y'all this too, because I started taking pictures of their presentation at the meeting yesterday. I got to tell you this because you're gonna scream. So they talked about a noise threshold, because that's some of the concerns that they brought up, because they talked about how loud these diesel engines are. Now, I know this for a fact because they talked to us about this. Remember, I told y'all about us touring the data center that already exists over here on the Far East Side, and they told us about the noise. Like, the people can hear. These are inside of a building, and the people can hear outside, like the neighborhoods around. And this is over by Eastgate, so like the houses are pretty decently far away. Okay. So on this chart, it has like fireworks at 140 dBs. They have concerts at 120 decibels. They have semi trucks at 100, and then it says OSHA limit for workplaces. Right, it's right under that. Then they got 80 for a lawnmower, 60 for a classroom chatter. Okay, and they have Metro Block's data center noise threshold is at 55. Okay. They are just below. Let me tell you, because you're going to holler. They are just below classroom chatter and just above a soft whisper.
Oh, I believe that. Oh, yeah. I definitely believe that. Right. With 36 diesel generators. Like,
oh, my God. That they have to test once a month, right?
At least once a month.
Yeah.
But then here's the thing. People are like, well, it would only be when, the power goes out in the neighborhood. No, that's not it. It's when AES can't deliver all of the power, which means like, yeah, maybe they could deliver enough power to light my house. But when you have to bring the power of Muncie, Indiana to that one site, there's going to be plenty of times where AES probably just can't deliver. Because that's been the case with data centers all across the country, that the diesel generators run.
There was a lot of concerns. There was a lot of really significant concerns about them. The ground testing positive for lead and then disturbing the ground, and that being a problem.
That was a big issue, because Ms. Paula got to arguing with their environmental attorney and Tyler about this. Was that they were like, well, no, that won't be an issue. Because we've got a mitigation plan for it already in place. And they're like, well, you've only done a phase 1, which means that you don't have a whole lot of information. So how do you have a mitigation plan for something that you don't actually know the full extent of?
Because they don't. And
they have no plan.
What he had to keep coming back to is he's working with them to develop a plan. And basically, as things come up, they'll handle it. And it's like, no, make the investment to know for sure ahead of time before you risk people's health.
Let me tell you, as somebody who was involved in the process of, what was it, Site 0154, because that's what they named it. They didn't want it to be called Riverside. But the IDEM, the Indiana Department of Environmental Management, had called in the EPA to make parts of Riverside a Superfund site. And once the folks got that wanted 16 Tech to go through, they went and negotiated with the governor's office or something else, and we never did see any cleanup, never saw anything happen. We don't really know what's the extent of it. I never heard more about it.
And they brought that up, how the accountability of like and BNS doesn't have the capacity to hold nobody accountable.
No, they can't. And the item definitely doesn't.
And then they definitely don't. So and they kept relying heavily on IDEM and stuff like, oh, well, they'll have to get, that's what staff kept saying. That's what Kathleen kept saying. Oh, well, they'll have to get this permit and that permit. Well, they'll have to go through IDEM for this or whatever. And it's just like, they say that because they think we don't know how this stuff works.
They also say that because they think that we don't know people at IDEM.
Right.
Right. Like there's not people in IDEM that are talking to us.
Right.
That are telling us that they don't have the capacity, that they don't check these things. That they say these things like, oh, y'all Negroes just don't know anybody, and white folks won't won't tell y'all that protect yourselves.
That's literally, listen, this is exactly what's going on with them closing the Randsburg Y. Like that Yogi board, the Y of Greater Indianapolis or Greater Indy, whatever, that Yogi board, they are literally, the reason why they're shutting out community, one, they're saying that their comms people is telling them to, which is terrible advice. You
direct the comms people, not them directing you.
Yeah, terrible advice. That's one. But then two, there is this sense, and you just feel it, of they feel like, oh, well, if we couldn't solve it, you definitely can't solve it. Like there's zero respect for community, for the leadership, for the collaboration, for the solidarity. It's just zero. And the whole time I was sitting in this meeting Wednesday, I felt the same energy in that room, just complete and total disrespect. So much so that Tyler got up there, and when they were talking to him about like, okay, this $2.5 million that you're saying is going to affordable housing.
How? Where?
Yeah, where? Who's it going to? Who are you working with? Well, we'll continue to work with counselor. Continue to work with Counselor Gibson after you just heard. So Sierra got up there and let them know, we don't know this man. He don't represent us. I mean, pointing directly to him. Okay? Literally was saying that to them. He got up there after that saying, oh, well, we're going to continue to work with Counselor Gibson. It's like, y'all idiots ain't even paying attention to what's going on. And we're supposed to trust some promises from y'all. And then he was like, oh, well, this donations to the community, this investment into the community could go up to $20 million if we get the abatements. It could go up. Could.
And abatements means that abatements is tax abatements. That means
Yes.
that you're not going to pay taxes.
Right.
So what are you mailing everybody in Brightwood a dividend check, or are you putting this money? Are you giving this to a nonprofit like Brightwood?
If they save money on the taxes, they'll give more to the community. And it's just like, to who? Because you don't work with community. You're not working with them. You're trying to do something to them, which you do all the time. And you just so happen to catch a piece of shit counselor.
Ron Gibson is the
Worthless.
worst. The worst.
The worst.
The
worst.
The disrespect shown to tell a community that you're gonna give them money, but there's no MOU, there's no written agreement.
Nothing.
You don't even know who you said you're giving the money to.
It's a pledge.
But because Martindale Brightwood, they actually have a CDC.
Yep. And they named that. They said the CDC and the Martin. They ain't heard nothing from none of them.
So you could have named some names, and it's like, but so obviously it's a lie. Yep. And Ron Gibson is a part of that. He's part of that lie.
Yep. He's a part of selling them out. And let me tell you the cherry on the top for him. So at the end of the meeting, they vote 4-2 to approve it, whatever, right? He gets up. Sierra's like, you should be ashamed of yourself, blah, blah, right? He looks at her. He's smiling. He said something. I don't know what he said to her, but you see his mouth move like he said something. He's smiling, like laughing. And then he waves to the community as they're all like filing out. And then this is the thing, though. This is just such a bit move. Like, and there's just no other name for it, y'all. It just really, really is. He did all of that. Okay. All of that. And then turned around and had the sheriffs escort him out.
After that, he needed to have the sheriffs escort him out.
But don't pour gasoline on a fire if you're afraid to get burned. That don't even go together.
Unfortunately, the sheriff should have escorted him out VOP style. But that's not what happened. That's how they should have escorted them out.
That's a fact. But we do have the link to, we're going to move on from here, but we do have the link to some campaign finance reports, because Gibson 100% did get money from Gregory Hahn, who is Bose. He also did get money from at least 3 members of the the MDC as well. So if you guys want to look at his campaign finance reports, which I think you should, use that link that's right there. Also, just for general information, I wanted to include the Indy campaign finance reports link and the state campaign finance report link, because you guys can look all that up.
The state link.
I know.
They always be messing around with that website.
It's weird. That's why I put the link here.
Thank you.
It'll go straight there every time. Yeah, so you guys just go in there. You can put in the candidate's name. Now, sometimes weird things happen because, like, when I put in his whole name, I put in Ron and then Gibson. For some reason, on the Indy Gov site, it didn't turn up, so I just put Gibson, and then it came up. So just don't. You can do one or the other.
They don't make these things easy, but keep trying. It's on there.
Yeah, keep
legally.
trying.
It has to be on there.
Yep.
And you might have to jump through some hoops to get it because they don't necessarily.
Pour through those. It's worth looking at because you should know where these people's money is coming from. Because a lot of times when decisions don't make sense to the outside, you go and find some money like, oh, makes sense now.
Yep.
Okay, so next thing up, volatile, oppositional, and problematic.
What is it? Volatile, oppositional, and
problematic.
Oh, VOP. Oh, shoot. What happened now?
So another story of Samuel's confrontational nature has come out.
His alter ego.
Oh, yes. His confrontational alter ego. We haven't given a name for it yet. We need a name.
We need a name for that.
We'll come back to that. We need a name.
Maybe we could ask his campaign who that is.
Because instead of when he
does come out from time to time. It's like which candidate is coming out today?
He needs a few of them. Because you remember I posted those links to his interviews where they were way different. Those were two different people, two different interviews.
Energetic vibe.
Yeah.
Happy
I got a drink in my hand. Upbeat jazz.
Yeah.
Vibe.
The sleepy vibe.
Yeah.
But apparently I think it was angry vibe that came out to no Kings protest.
Yeah. So I think he was mad because he gave so much money and he was like, how dare you disrespect me after giving so much money?
But I don't know when the confrontation was. It before he got heckled during the speech or was it after the speech?
I don't know either.
I need to ask.
I couldn't tell from Cliff's post. But Cliff posted, I haven't linked there. He was talking about how he kept trying to get away from VOP and VOP just kept trying to press a conversation, which is, it's unnecessary.
That happened. I'm serious. It happened to me. We know
it happened to Wild.
And it wasn't one event. It started at Butter and then it was like a week or two later for the Riverside Parade and I finally gave him what he wanted. But it started at Butter and it was like, okay, I'm trying to get away from you, but all right.
This is my thing though. Imagine being so incompetent that people complain about how bad you are. And instead of just fixing it so they'll stop complaining, you just go to argue with them. And then keep pressing when they clearly don't want to talk to you.
But only at public events.
And only at public events.
When there are literally hundreds of people around you. Because that was the case with my
he's trying to look tough.
I think he was.
He's trying to look tough. He's probably hoping. He's probably dying. He's like, yo, next time they done missed another one on camera. Next time he's gonna have his own cameraman. He just wants y'all to know that he's tough. Well, I don't know.
I got that from him, and I'm not gonna say everything he said because I can't quote him verbatim. I can't remember all of it, but somehow he thought that was the case, and I'm like, no, I remember what I told him. It was like, no, VOP, we don't think you're a nice guy. That's the problem.
Right.
We don't think you're a nice guy.
Or a good counselor. It won't be a good mayor. So I'm not going to stay there long. I just wanted to point out that we're seeing a pattern.
And also, I want to bring in some old news with VOP. When we talk about Decorum.
Like
the Decorum. This is a class issue where people that in his social class, they wear suits and all this, and then they get to go pick fights in public places with community people.
Yep.
You can say what you want about Cliff, you can say what you want about me, but I think Cliff wears a suit more than me, but Cliff never looks like he's wearing a suit even when he's wearing a suit. But I don't wear a suit at all. And we are community people. We have our own reputation of being outspoken and all of that. And you have this city councilor and architect and black bourgeois that goes and follow, literally, we'll go follow you at an event to go pick a fight. And this is the person that wants to be the next mayor.
Yep.
We're gonna talk about it more, but he lacks the emotional intelligence for the job, let alone, he's been my counselor for
And
over a decade.
As you're lecturing us about class and decorum, you might want to talk to the
your
candidate that you're supporting. Like,
because that's a concern. Like,
yes, the way he had these women dragged out of that meeting, and yes, I brought it up again. Yes,
and we're gonna keep bringing it up because he did it.
Yes, and then the way that he freaking ran down on Wildstyle, the way that he ran down on Cliff, is just like, there is no, quit asking us to do something that he's not doing.
Yeah,
what?
And the reason that I turned the heat up on VOP was after he had them women thrown out like that.
Yeah.
And in such a horrible way and just disrespectful way, was like, well.
And not the first time.
It was not the first time.
And not the first. He's done this multiple times.
I was like, if that's how you're going to act, then I'm going to act right there with you. Or as one of my favorite counselors ever, Eric May says, when you go lower, when you go low, I go lower. And so if that's how you go act, but I will say, like when my confrontation with him at Butter, I definitely avoided it because I was a Butter artist. Yeah. And I was enjoying my time of being a celebrity, so I ain't had nothing for him. And at Riverside Parade, like I actually tried to avoid it because he introduced me to his daughter before he started trying to argue with me. Like, come on, like get y'all's candidate, like, get your boy.
When our community is on the line, when you're talking about, we're witnessing firsthand of just how harmful that mayor oil seat can be if it's in the wrong hands. Mm-hmm. And when you're telling us to operate with class and decorum and all of this and that, when he's running down on folks like that, and when there's a chance that he could be our next mayor, no. That's the simple answer. No. He's
mercurial. He lacks the emotional intelligence for the job. You can't treat these situations like that. And and the issue is, I would think it would be smarter for him to, like, I'd have more respect if he was like a real gangster and he goes and finds me when I'm walking down the street alone. But to go do this with all of us in the public events where there's all these different people around and stuff like that, it's like, come on, fam.
Yeah.
Like, stop.
That's what we don't care that you're tough. That's the difference.
And it's not tough.
We're not trying to prove anything to you. We're not trying to prove anything to anybody else. We're sharing what has actually happened, what you have actually done, and laying out the case that we do not believe you should be mayor. And we're sharing that. That's it. So you don't need to come prove to us that you're a tough guy. You don't need to come prove to them that you're a tough guy. And your crew, your supporters definitely don't need to lecture us on class and decorum. Okay?
Yeah, because I mean this, and I want to say, like, there are multiple people. I've seen people in comment sections. There are multiple people that are VOP supporters, and I'm going to keep it cordial. But also, it gets old watching people's like, well, people should do this and shouldn't, dwell on this and that, and just worry about your candidate. No, I'm worried about the other candidate because I'm scared. I don't want that person. That person is my counselor already. I've seen them do very bad things, and I'm gonna talk about it. Like,
that's what's crazy too, to tell somebody's constituent that they can't talk about his lack of
that's my counselor.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I've been embarrassed so many times.
Or if you've been dragged out by his command, you cannot tell people when and when they can't talk about that. That's crazy. To me.
And I understand that people, that's not the side that you see of him. But you have to respect that's the side that we've seen, and it's not like we're making it up. There's video evidence of some of the stuff he did. I'll give you another thing about decorum that people talk about. VOP, even some of his supporters, like, well, he had to keep order in there. But when we talk about that type of decorum, I remember when Jeff Miller, a Republican counselor, pled guilty to touching 2 10-year-old girls.
Council President Vop Osili said while Miller made the best decision,
but he worked very, very hard for his constituents and was a great colleague to work alongside of. He was collaborative, and I personally will miss that. We will miss his presence in the council.
And he was forced to resign. And Vop wrote a letter talking about his that Jeff will be remembered for his unwavering service to the community and all of that, and he respects his decision to resign.
The receipts are in the description. In case you think somebody's lying, the receipts are in the description.
Like, and I remember when he wrote the letter, and I was on Twitter. I was like, "What is this? How do you have this much?" I mean, the type of letter that VOP wrote for that guy, he probably could get hired as a teacher if they didn't go look at his record.
Jesus.
Like, but when it comes to council meetings, you'll interrupt a sex abuse survivor and within moments of their testimony because you think that's how you enforce decorum. But then you write a letter for someone that pled. They're the ones that said that they touched 2 10-year-old girls.
Yep. Yeah.
I just. Trust me, and we got
But
more than a year of this.
But this is
I got plenty.
That again though, we already knew that he was playing the protection game already of predators. So it's like that's y'all. This you got to be careful about who you're trying to defend, who you're trying to stand up for. You're talking a little too loud and a little too quick. Okay. Slow down. And my thing is, if there are great things that he's done for the community, then put it out there. Like there love to see it.
There was somebody that operates in my neighborhood that had put out a post.
Yes.
And it was inaccurate.
Yep.
But at least they tried.
They tried.
They tried. It was inaccurate, but I can tell you that I was on the Riverside Master Plan Committee all those years ago, and none of the elected officials were helpful. Neither were they involved, except for Monroe Gray, which he did his best to stop us. Outside of Monroe Gray, there was none of the counselors were involved. But I will say he was involved because he tried to stop us.
That's hilarious. Oh my God. Oh, Monroe. Mm-hmm. God. All right. Well, I'm sure y'all listen. The year is going to be long for these municipal races. We will have plenty of time to continue to explore all of the adventures of volatile, oppositional, and problematic. But this is one thing I know for sure. Do not lecture folks when people's lives and livelihoods are on the line. Don't do that. Okay, next one up. We're gonna go through these last ones fast. I know we're pretty significantly over our hour, but 7 WRTV. Oh my God. So I'll read this statement and then I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah, because there's a conflict there.
It's a statement by Doran McCoy, the owner and president and CEO my God, of Circle City Broadcasting. We are excited about our transition of WRTV ABC into the CCB family, a process that will take several months to complete. Once we move through the initial phase, we'll be expanding the amount of local news aired on WRTV ABC Monday through Friday in the mornings, as well as on weekends, areas that were previously underserved by the former owner, blah, blah, blah. He says that they used to air 23 hours. They're going to go to, what do you say, 30 hours in the next little bit or whatever.
No, 90 hours.
Yeah, no. Then he said separate from the 90 hours of Wish TV's content. Yeah, Wish TV does 90 hours. Yeah. So and then 150 of like, okay, cool. So you hear all those things, and he's like, Circle City Broadcasting remains committed to family, community, and delivering high quality local news programming.
Well, that's good because with all those hours expanding, that means that the WRTV staff should be good.
Listen, so now let's tell you on the backside what happened. So I have, if you look in the description, there are several links, at least 4, of different folks that have different reporters, journalists who have worked for WRTV for a long time and got the boot. So as soon as this deal went through, he fired almost everybody.
The entire newsroom is what I heard.
The entire newsroom.
Honestly, I don't know who didn't get fired, Mike.
I don't know who did, but they keep saying almost everybody. So I'm assuming there must be a couple, but everybody. Like, I mean,
Probably the janitorial service didn't get fired.
it can only be a few. It can only be a few because I mean, and you see on the links right there that I have linked, there's multiples, and these are people who have been there for a very long time.
Well, one person in particular that I know, he got fired twice because when Dewan took over, he fired him there. And then when he went to WRTV 6, Dewan fired everybody there.
Jesus. Yeah, no, it's super bad. I think this is what's most concerning is like in the statement he said, first of all, we're excited about this. That's alarming. And then he said a process that'll take several months to complete. And it's like, if it'll take several months to complete, why didn't you give them a warning and let them work and let them find other opportunities and stuff? Because this is the other thing.
And because they didn't know it was coming.
No, and people brought up the complication of the non-competes in their contracts. So how that limits them from being able to work so if they wanted to stay in Indianapolis, it limits their ability to be able to do that. Like,
and he fired anybody that didn't sign the non-compete clause at Wish TV.
Yeah.
So now if they went over to if they went over to
WRTV,
I think that's how one of them got fired twice.
That is, I mean, this is unacceptable. I mean, really. And to add insult to injury at the end, gonna say we're committed to family, community, and like, you cannot be committed to family and community
committed
and you
to
just
doing something
the rug
to them
out from all of these people in an instant. Like, didn't even give them notice or anything. Just like, because listen, you would definitely be crying if your whole newsroom got up and walked out on you.
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of controversy last month about Indianapolis media outlet owners. And I remember telling somebody, I was like, well, DeJuan McCoy is the only media outlet owner that I know that people have literally told me he ruined their lives or I had to go send money to help. And I'm serious. Like, I'm not talking about what he did this time. I'm talking about stuff he did before this.
Jesus.
Like, people had literally told me that this man has ruined their lives.
This is, because this is folks' livelihood. These are their jobs. They like, this is how they feed their family. And you're just ripping that away in an instance or getting rid of them because they don't want to sign non-competes that literally, this is why they don't.
Yeah. Because
they can be let go at any time and they wouldn't have any options. Like, this is horrific. I encourage you all to go through those links and just read the stories. And then I'm not sure, I haven't seen because this is like private business stuff. Like, I'm not sure there's anything we can even do.
I mean, we're at an at-will state. Like,
yeah.
You can do stuff like that.
You can, yeah. So I'm not even sure there's anything you can do. But
right to work, yeah, I think.
Yeah. But you should definitely, though, read these stories and see them for yourselves. And if you have some way of helping folks or helping connect them to jobs, I seen Cameron Riddle making a post, sharing things with his colleagues and stuff. Maybe you reach out there. I don't know, but we definitely needed to highlight it. We don't have solutions right now, unfortunately, but I mean, in all sincerity, really prayers for real to all of these people who have lost, their jobs, their ways of taking care of their family. And I hope that they can find other things. I think too, it's kind of been overshadowed by this, rightfully so, but also this consolidating of media is a problem, y'all.
It does not help us
no.
at all. I've long been a critic of the TV stations. Usually, I'm gonna be honest, like as a citizen journalist, I rely on other day-to-day working journalists for my information.
Yes.
But when I get it from a TV station, all I know is something happened. I don't know what happened.
Right.
Because there's such a high turnover, and then they're under pressure. There's a high turnover where you have people coming in and like literally they're like 23, 24 years old, and they just moved to this city for this job. They don't know anybody, and they're dealing with the same cast of characters that we deal with every time.
Well, and I mean, some of the most How did I forget my point that quick? I forget my point that quick. That's what I get for cutting you off.
What?
Oh my God. I had another point about that.
I mean, like Reverend Harrison gets over on every new person that goes to one of these stations because they don't know no better.
Oh, and who's going to report about this?
Exactly.
That's as we consolidate our news sources. You think Dewan is approving stories that puts him in a bad light? Like what? No, like they're not allowing that. So it's like, so who reports on all of these reporters losing their jobs or him doing folks wrong? Because to your point before about you saying people telling you that he's ruined their lives.
Yeah, this was going on.
How do they get somebody to report on that? How?
I mean. The more the news gets consolidated, you lose perspective.
Yes.
It would be like if all you got was what we said on the Black Briefing podcast. Like we control all the media. And so right now, there's only, 2 media outlets in control of TV news in Indianapolis.
Yep.
Was it Nexstar and then Circle City Broadcasting?
It's scary. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's scary. It's scary, and it definitely gives me a lot of concern on where we should be getting our news from, where we shouldn't be getting our news from. If it's credible, what are we missing out on? Because that's the thing too. It's already hard to stay up to date on everything now. Can you imagine when we're missing stuff? Like I'm sure there's tons of people who don't know about this because they've just been having to make social media posts because nobody's like picking it up.
Because half of the TV news stations in Indianapolis are owned by the person that's fired all these people.
Yeah.
And then the other side probably don't want smoke from the other half.
Right.
You have to balance this, and I will say this all the time. Like, it's no knock to the TV news crews because I think they're working as hard as they can, but they're put in positions where they're not familiar with the cities that they're working in all the time, and then they're under a constant deadline to get stuff out, and it's not accuracy. I think we had this conversation earlier today, like about do you want quality?
Yep.
Well, Ruth Chris or something like that, or do you want McDonald's?
Yep.
And TV stations, the more they're consolidated, the more they have leadership that does stuff like that, you are getting McDonald's.
You're getting McDonald's.
Or that Jordan's chicken over on the...
And we all know McDonald's will serve its purpose in a pinch. But not all the time. You can't do that all the time.
Because you'll get sick.
You get sick. And the news will make us sick. The news will make us sick. So that's our last topic because we were going to do brief thoughts, but the brief thoughts was the Decorum class thing.
Yeah, okay.
So we can skip that one. So we are to the rundown, y'all. And it's not a whole lot of things, just a few things we wanted to make sure we highlighted. First of all, 311 daycares have closed since September.
Wow, that's making America great again.
Crisis, y'all. This is so bad. Please use that link. Please learn more about it. But we have got to get childcare funding. I said this in another episode in our interview before, but that is one of the last straws that broke the camel's back for us losing our Randsburg YMCA. That in a really crappy board. But that it's huge. We lost the early childhood program at Fort Benway, at Baxter. It is really bad out here. We cannot afford to lose 311 daycares throughout the state. So we got to get that worked out. Next thing is Kristi Noem's husband likes titties, but not on her.
He likes them on himself.
And I just wanted to include this story just so that we all just get a little hee out of it, because I do not have a problem with him putting on cockeyed blow up titties.
I have a problem that they were cockeyed. I was offended. I was like, I looked at the picture. I'm like, why is it?
It's his world. I have a problem with y'all trying to limit other people.
Yeah.
From being able to live in this country, work in this country, thrive in this country, and y'all out here with fake cockeyed titties. That's
ginormous one.
Not giving ginormous. I need y'all to go to that TMZ link and actually read what they're saying he said too. And it's a possibility that he was exposed by an undocumented
Good.
immigrant.
I love it.
Is hilarious.
I love it.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Please read it. I thought TMZ was clickbaiting me. It was not clickbait. It's real. And there's even a clip of Donald Trump where he was like, oh, they admitted to it or they confirmed it, something like that. And he was like, oh, well.
Oh my God.
So,
But it's hilarious because there's video of Rudy Giuliani dressed up in drag with
JD
Donald
Vance too. JD Vance in dress and stuff.
They love it.
They crashed. I remind people all the time they crashed Tinder during the RNC.
Yeah,
Remember that?
That's what they say.
They
love all that stuff.
You can
until
just
they hate it.
Exactly. Stop faking the funk. You all right? You all right? What? Jared's looking at me crazy. No, it was Tinder.
The gay one is
Grindr. Oh, maybe it was Grindr.
Yeah, no, they crashed
They
Grindr.
crashed Grindr.
They
Oh, that's
crashed
true.
Grindr.
That's true. Good catch, babe. They crashed Grindr. Sorry. So that's the thing. Listen, we don't have a problem with you living your best life.
And maybe y'all need to not have a problem with it too, and let everybody
Y'all
just
need to
chill.
not have a
Like,
problem with
if you like big cockeyed
blow up titties,
bazookas, like
that is, go do your thing. Okay, go do your thing.
Like, did he buy them that way, or they just didn't put them on right? I would. That's what I want to know. I mean, for real, like I'm just like.
Jared said they probably started out normal. They just been through it. Ooh.
Oh my God,
that is hilarious. But he was like, there's a quote where it's like he just wants huge ones or something like that. I was like, okay.
I believe it. I believe it. I saw. I was like,
go for it.
I was like, what? Like, this has got to be a joke.
And then when they asked her about it, she's like, we just want our privacy. And I was like, oh, shoot. They didn't even try to deny it.
Too late for that, honey.
It was like the pictures exist. But okay. Anyway, okay. Trump can't find funding for childcare. So y'all, if y'all missed it, and it actually came out this morning. Today is Thursday. So it actually came out this morning. It's a video, and it's like an Easter thing. They're speaking of some kind of Easter thing.
Oh, no. I didn't know that's the context of where it's bad. It should be our lead-in video, honestly.
It might be our intro. But he said, the federal government cannot pay for childcare.
Daycare. He was like,
daycare.
That's what got me. He was like, we can't do daycare.
Cannot pay for daycare. We got to pay for wars.
Military.
What? How are we paying for daycare? The states got to do that. The states have
That's
to
why I
handle
left
that.
it to the states. That they have to decide that they can pay for it.
I can.
We can help. We can do some things, but they got to
trying
pay
to make
for
it seem like we can't afford it because we got all these wars that he started is blowing me.
Man, y'all voted for some of y'all voted for America First. Like, what happened?
First.
What happened to America First?
Ooh. It hurts. He fired Pam Bondi?
What? What? I was like, wait a minute, I hadn't heard that.
Well, this is the thing though, because this is what I was gonna say about the Kristi Noem thing too. The thing with Kristi Noem is like, once I saw this, I was like, oh, he didn't get rid of Kristi Noem because she sucks.
No,
he got rid of her because her husband was about to be outed.
Yeah, that I guarantee you.
So, but Pam Bondi, they both went. They were doing terrible at them trials with what was it, with the House or with the Senate?
Yeah,
Senate,
both. I think.
Yeah, in their trials, boy, they was doing terrible.
Wow.
So I feel like I seen it coming. It's probably gonna be some white Trumper man.
Well, I mean, Pam Bondi's job, her only job was to keep the Epstein files out. I mean. I thought she was doing a good job at that.
Oh my God! You thought she was doing a good job when they botched the censoring of the.
But they did that because they had fired all the people that could actually do it. So I mean, she did as good a job as she could have given the personnel.
God, we are living in a circus.
It is literally a circus.
It's a circus. Okay, last one. The bullet don't match. We need a rhyming thing, just like if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. We need that for the bullet don't match. So if you haven't been watching the Charlie Kirk trial for the alleged shooter, is going on right now, and his lawyers are saying that the bullet that they found does not match the gun that they found.
They need to check Erica's.
Yeah.
can't rule out.
You
I mean,
caught me
you
off
can't.
guard
You
with
you can't rule out nothing, man. If
I didn't mean to say yeah, but
yeah,
also,
hey, you said what came to your mind. Like, yeah, it makes sense. Like,
yeah. So they want to. It says fatally shooting Charlie Kirk last September want to delay a court hearing for 6 months to review evidence. So they're saying that the bullet don't match. Listen, there is something going on. And again, I just want to highlight again, as we are holding Democrats accountable, as we're holding Democrats accountable over here, Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens are holding them to the fire about Israel and about Epstein and about Charlie Kirk's murder. Let me tell you, my God. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, you need to go to their pages. You need to watch some of this stuff. It is wild. The connections that they're making is wild. And the questions that they're raising are significant and credible. And at this point, we need to bring folks up on charges.
but my concern is that now that Tyler Robinson, that they can't match the bullet to his gun, is that they find one of the two black people that live in Utah. Let's say
my God.
it's saying, oh, here it is. It matches their gun.
You can't put it past them.
Yeah,
You can't put it past them. You can't put it past them. So I hope that this is what I hope for real. I hope that justice is served.
Yeah, I do.
I hope that justice is served, and I can say that wholeheartedly. T's and P's for his people.
Mm-hmm. Thoughts and players.
T's and P's. Whatever T's and P's means to you. Okay? Whatever T's and P's means to you. That is it. That's it for today.
It was a fun episode.
We are going to be back, y'all. We're going to do our best to be back in a month. But like Wild Style said before, listen, sometimes when you go to Ruth Chris, you got to wait a little bit. Mm-hmm. But when it hits the table, it's sizzling and it's fire every time, right? So sometimes because me and Wild Style live our rhymes, we got lives. We got things that we're out here doing in the community, for ourselves. We got families. We got things, y'all. So be patient with us, but we are doing our best to make sure we get this to you every month, to make sure we get you like really quality interviews that give you a knowledge and a know-how, so that when you go to vote, you know who you're voting for, you feel confident, and you know that these people are going to serve your community well. I mean, that's the goal. Okay. Anything else you want to?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, I appreciate y'all for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.
Please.
Y'all comment down there. I love to read y'all's comments and respond to them. Please.
And secretly share some of the stuff.
Yeah,
I know
I
know some of y'all do secretly share it. We love that too.
You're my little secret. We're okay with that. We're okay with that. Share us on the download. That's all right. Also, where are y'all at not having burner accounts? I said this before.
Yeah, comment with some burner account. Comment with some burner account.
Get your burner account.
And if there is some information that some hot information that we need on there, get a burner account and send us some links.
We are open and responsive on every platform. So I appreciate y'all. Please just continue to keep us lifted. Keep Wildside lifted as he finishes up his sickness.
Yeah, I'm going to try to eat later on today.
Definitely keep him lifted in that. And just the platform, y'all. This is something special that we're creating. We appreciate y'all's support, and we hope that that'll continue so that we can just continue to grow and do better things. We have a lot of amazing plans. We're working on an event actually later this month. If it comes through, you guys will see all the details very soon. But other than that, we appreciate y'all. Peace.
Take care.